आगे
Government decides to establish 3 more new upazlas in the country. Dashar in Madaripur, Eidgah in Cox's Bazar and Madhanagar in Sunamganj to get upazla status. Daily COVID-19 deaths and new infections hit record highs in the country. 247 deaths and 15,192 fresh cases identified. Infection rate stands at 29.82%. 1,000-bed field hospital dedicated for COVID-19 patients likely to open next week in the capital. Criticism of government now become BNP's only political program, says Obaidul Qadir. What is BNP's planned lockdown? Questions Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood in response to BNP's constant criticism about lockdown. US announces continued airstrikes against Taliban in Afghanistan. And hosts Japan at top of medal list with 8 gold medals at Tokyo Olympics, followed by US in the second position. Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is News at 10 on BTV, BTV World and BTV Chattogram Center. I am Imtiaz Ahmed Siddiqui. You just heard the headlines. Let's move on to the details of those and other stories. The government has approved 3 new upazlas named Eidgah in Cox's Bazar, Madhanagar in Sunamganj and Dashar in Madaripur, raising the total number of upazlas to 495 in the country. The approval came from the meeting of the National Implementation Committee for Administrative Reform NICAR, held virtually today. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina chaired the meeting, joining from her official residence Gano Bhavan, while her cabinet colleagues from the Secretariat. Besides, Dokhin Sunamganj upazla was renamed as Shantiganj upazla. In the NICAR meeting, the Sylhet City Corporation area was extended and Shahjalal University of Science and Technology and some big establishments came under the city area. Apart from this, changes were brought to the boundaries of 2 municipalities, Dohar in Dhaka and Shipchor in Madaripur. Meanwhile, the Cabinet gave the final approval to the draft of Bangladesh Legal Practitioners and Bar Council Amendment Ordinance 2021 with the provision of allowing the government to form an ad hoc committee for a maximum of 1-year tenure to arrange the Bar Council election in an unusual situation. On the other hand, the meeting rejected a specific proposal for bringing amendments to the Government Services Act 2018. In the meeting, a report on the implementation rate of the Cabinet decisions in the second quarter was also presented. After the Cabinet and NICAR meeting, Cabinet Secretary Khondokar Anwarul Islam briefed reporters at the Secretariat.
জনপ্রশাসন থেকে একটা প্রস্তাব আনা হয়েছিল যে 51 ধারাতে যেটা আছে যে যদি সরকারি কর্মচারী রিটায়ার করে যায় কিন্তু তারপরও যদি তার কোনো দুর্নীতি থাকে বা তার কর্তৃক সরকারের কোনো লস হয় তাহলে আগের আইনে ছিল যে তার পেনশন থেকে পুরাটা বা কিছুটা কেটে নিতে পারবে। এটা যাতে না থাকে এরকম জনপ্রশাসন একটা প্রস্তাব নিয়ে আসছিল, কিন্তু ক্যাবিনেট সেটা এগ্রি করে না। ক্যাবিনেট আগে থেকে বলে আগে যেটা আছে সেটাই ঠিক।
Bangladesh reported 247 COVID-19 deaths today and 15,192 new infections. Directorate General of Health Services, DGHS, in its routine daily statement today said the death toll has risen to 19,521 from coronavirus and the tally of infections has risen to 11,79,827. The recovery count rose to 10,09,975 after another 11,052 patients recovered. The statement said 29.82% of 50,952 samples tested positive. DGHS statistics showed of the people infected from the beginning, 85.60% recovered and 1.65% died. The statement said of the 247 deaths, 2 are between 11 to 20 years, 3 are between 21 to 30 years, 16 are between 31 to 40 years, 30 between 41 to 50 years, 59 between 51 to 60 years, 73 between 61 to 70 years, 45 are between 71 to 80 years, 17 are between 81 to 90 years, and 2 are between 90 to 100 years. 141 out of the 247 people died were male, while 106 were female. DGHS informed that 72 people died in Dhaka division, 61 died in Chattogram division, 21 in Rajshahi division, 46 died in Khulna division, 12 in Borishal division, 14 in Sylhet division, 16 died in Rangpur division, and 5 died in Mymensingh division. Work on setting up of a 1,000-bedded Corona Field Hospital at the Bangomata Convention Centre of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Medical University Hospital in the capital is progressing fast. The authority concerned expressed their hope to start the activities of this 130 ICU-bedded field hospital within the next week. The authorities said after launching the activities of the hospital, crisis of beds and ICU will be reduced to a great extent. Besides, providing treatment facilities to the corona patients will be much easier for the setting up of this field hospital. As already reported, number of beds in all hospitals of the capital city, including district and upazila health complexes, are being increased to ensure smooth treatment for the corona patients. A strict lockdown is continuing across the country for the 4th day today. In the backdrop of the 14-day lockdown from 23rd July to check the corona infection, especially the Delta variant, the streets of the capital city were almost vacant. But movement of private cars, rickshaws, motorcycles and local people in the roads were fewer. In Motijhil, Saidabad, Gulistan, Kauran Bazar, Shahbag and Gaptoli areas, movement of the people were very few, excepting some covered vans and microbuses engaged in emergency services. Meanwhile, members of law enforcing agencies including Army, RAB, BGB and police and Ansar battalions are on vigil for the implementation of the lockdown declared by the government. There are continuing endeavours to bring down necessary movement of the people and vehicles under control by setting up checkposts and conducting mobile courts at different points and road crossings in all the districts of the country. Besides, members of the law enforcing agencies are charging cash penalty and fine from those violating the health rules. Country's banks, insurances, non-banking financial institutions and stock markets remained open during the strict lockdown to continue the country's economic wheel. Banks are operating their activities from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. with limited staff. As a result, country's all economic transactions are taking place smoothly. Besides, trading at country's 2 bourses were maintained from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. during the period. Concerns said the economy of the whole world has been affected by the corona pandemic. However, Bangladesh has not been affected by the pandemic due to timeliness and courageous decisions of the government. Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Qadir today said constant criticism of the government has now become BNP's only political program. He said this in a statement in response to a statement given by BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir. Obaidul Qadir said at the present situation, political parties are working shoulder to shoulder for the welfare of the people in almost all the countries, many of which once witnessed severe rivalry between the ruling parties and the oppositions. But at that time, he said BNP is deliberately making false and fabricated statements every day, increasing the plight of the people. Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood asked BNP to explain their planned lockdown as the party criticized the ongoing lockdown. The minister told this while exchanging views with journalists at the Secretariat in the capital today. The Information and Broadcasting Minister said people should obey the ongoing strict lockdown as COVID-19 is rapidly spreading in rural areas.
লকডাউন নিয়ে এক এক সময় এক এক ধরনের কথা বিএনপির পক্ষ থেকে বলা হচ্ছে। লকডাউন দেওয়ার আগে বলা হচ্ছিল যে দেশে কঠোর লকডাউন দেওয়া দরকার, বিএনপির পক্ষ থেকে বলা হয়েছে। আবার লকডাউন দেওয়ার পর এবং বলছে যে এই লকডাউন অপরিকল্পিত। তাহলে পরিকল্পিতটা কি, সেটা একটু প্রেসক্রিপশনটা দিক না। বাংলাদেশে আজকে করোনা প্রায় 1.5 বছর, একজন মানুষও, এই খেটে খাওয়া মানুষের দেশে একজন মানুষও অনাহারে মৃত্যুবরণ করে নাই। অবশ্যই অনেকের সাময়িক অসুবিধা হচ্ছে, কিন্তু সরকারের ব্যাপক তৎপরতার কারণে, আমাদের দলের পক্ষ থেকে ব্যাপক ত্রাণ তৎপরতা, মানুষের পাশে দাঁড়ানোর কারণে মানুষের মধ্যে কোনো হাহাকার নেই। এই অসুবিধা সাময়িক। আর বিএনপি এই সমস্ত নিয়ে কথা বলে 13, 14, 15 সালে যে দিনের পর দিন প্রায় 158 দিন তারা হরতাল অবরোধ ডেকেছিল, তখন জনগণের অসুবিধা হয়েছে, সেটা মাথায় ছিল না বিএনপির। মানুষের জীবন রক্ষা করার জন্য লকডাউন দিতে হচ্ছে, এবং এটি শুধু বাংলাদেশে নয়, পৃথিবীর বিভিন্ন দেশে, প্রায় সব দেশে এই পদ্ধতি অবলম্বন করা হচ্ছে। পার্শ্ববর্তী দেশ ভারত, ইউরোপের বিভিন্ন দেশে এটি করা হচ্ছে। শহরের হাসপাতালগুলোতে যে রোগীগুলো ভর্তি হচ্ছে, ঢাকা শহর, চট্টগ্রাম শহর সহ বিভিন্ন বড় শহরগুলোতে, তার 70% রোগী গ্রাম থেকে আসছে। তো এই জন্য আমি সবাইকে অনুরোধ জানাবো, এখন সারা দেশে করোনা ছড়িয়েছে, গ্রামাঞ্চলেও ছড়িয়েছে, সবাইকে স্বাস্থ্যবিধি মেনে চলার জন্য, এবং লকডাউন স্বাস্থ্যবিধি মানা নিজের স্বার্থেই প্রয়োজন।
Now, international news. The United States will continue airstrikes in support of Afghan forces fighting the Taliban, a top U.S. general said Sunday as the insurgents press on with offensives across the country. Since early May, violence has surged after the insurgents launched a sweeping assault just days after the U.S.-led foreign forces began their final withdrawal. The Taliban's deadly assault has seen the insurgents capture scores of districts, border crossings, and encircle several provincial capitals. General Kenneth McKenzie, head of the U.S. Army Central Command, told reporters in Kabul that the United States has increased airstrikes in the support of Afghan forces over the last several days. COVID-19 global death toll climbed to over 41,79,000 and total corona case tally rose to more than 19,50,23,000. The United States has now about 3,51,99,000 confirmed coronavirus cases and about 6,27,000 deaths due to COVID-19. The death toll in India climbed to over 4,20,000 and the total tally of COVID-19 cases is about 3,14,11,000. And now sports news. The host Japan moved to the top of the medal table as they won 8 gold, 2 silver and 3 bronze medals at the end of the third day of Tokyo Olympic Games. United States of America is in the second position of the table as they bagged 7 gold, 3 silver and 4 bronze medals. China got 6 gold, 5 silver and 7 bronze and stayed in the third position. Russian Olympic Committee ROC is in the fourth position of the medal tally while they earned 4 gold, 5 silver and 3 bronze medals. Canada's Maggie McNeil has won Canada's first gold medal in the Tokyo Olympics Monday after finishing first in the women's 100-meter butterfly. McNeil finished with a time of 55.59 seconds, setting a Canadian record at her first Olympic Games. Adam Peaty roared with pride and relief as the fastest breaststroker in history, became the first British swimmer to defend an Olympic title with a dominant 100-meter win in the Tokyo pool on today. The gold was also his country's first of the 2020 Games. Momiji Nishiya of Japan made history today when she took home the first women's street skateboarding Olympic gold medal at the Tokyo 2020 Games. Standing next to her on the Olympic podium was Raisa Leal from Brazil, who earned silver in the event. Japanese taker Funa Nakayama took bronze. To end the bulletin, headlines once again. Government decides to establish 3 more new upazilas in the country. Dashar in Madaripur, Eidgah in Cox's Bazar and Muddhanagar in Sunamganj to get upazila status. Daily COVID-19 deaths and new infections hit record highs in the country. 247 deaths and 15,192 fresh cases identified. Infection rate stands at 29.82%. 1,000-bed field hospital dedicated for COVID-19 patients likely to open next week in the capital. Criticism of government now become BNP's only political program, says Obaidul Qadir. What is BNP's planned lockdown? Questions Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood in response to BNP's constant criticism about lockdown. US announces continued air strikes against Taliban in Afghanistan. And hosts Japan at top of medal list with 8 gold medals at Tokyo Olympics, followed by US in the second position. And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for being with us. To end the bulletin, headlines once again. Government decides to establish 3 more new upazilas in the country. Dashar in Madaripur, Eidgah in Cox's Bazar and Muddhanagar in Sunamganj to get upazila status. Daily COVID-19 deaths and new infections hit record highs in the country. 247 deaths and 15,192 fresh cases identified. Infection rate stands at 29.82%. 1,000-bed field hospital dedicated for COVID-19 patients likely to open next week in the capital. Criticism of government now become BNP's only political program, says Obaidul Qadir. What is BNP's planned lockdown? Questions Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood in response to BNP's constant criticism about lockdown. US announces continued air strikes against Taliban in Afghanistan. And hosts Japan at top of medal list with 8 gold medals at Tokyo Olympics, followed by US in the second position. And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for being with us.